Well, my name's Lance Price. I've worked in politics, I've worked in journalism, and for the last few years I've been writing and commentating on both politics and journalism. And this book is about all of that. It's called Where Power Lies, and it's about the battles, really, between Downing Street, the Prime Ministers in Downing Street, and the media, going back to David Lloyd George, who became Prime Minister in 1916, and up to and including Gordon Brown. I guess I'd thought about the relationship between the media and politics a lot because I'd worked in both of those professions. And I've kind of been aware of the fact that the people who get involved, certainly in writing about politics as journalists, and people who get involved actually in being politicians or working for politicians, are very, very similar. When they get together, they speak the same sort of language. And it can be a language that excludes the rest of us, or the rest of the population, who don't really move in those circles. And I wanted to look at those characters and see whether or not the way in which they did work together was actually in the interests of democracy, if you want to be terribly grand about it, but in the interests of the people of Britain. And I came to the conclusion, actually, that an awful lot of the time it isn't, that the people tend to get left out of this conversation that's going on at Westminster between journalists and politicians who think alike and work alike and often are as devious as each other. I mean, the book is, I suppose, about spin, loosely. I mean, I'm not quite sure what that term is supposed to mean, although there's quite a bit in the book about what maybe it does or doesn't mean. But people get the impression, have been given the idea, often by journalists, that it's always the politicians who do the spinning, who do the misleading, who do the dressing up of facts to try to make them sound more important than they are. And the truth of the matter is that there's a bit of that on both sides. And certainly journalists are capable of spinning, of distorting facts as much as politicians are. And one of the stories in the book, which I haven't told in anything I've written before, concerned when I was working in Downing Street, and a journalist, quite a senior journalist, rang me up, and he was after some information that he knew I had that didn't reflect very well on the Conservative Party, and I was working obviously for the Labour government, and he said to me, if you give me this information, which I know you're not supposed to give me and you know you're not supposed to give me, but if you do give it to me, I'll write in my newspaper that came from senior Conservative sources. And I sort of was a bit startled that he was making this offer, but rightly or wrongly I agreed, and that's exactly what he did. So not only did he was he not being honest, direct with his readers about where the information had come from, he was actually lying about where the information had come from. From our point of view in government, it was great. We got out some dirt on the Conservative Party, if you like, and no fingerprints from Downing Street anywhere near it. But it does show that actually, when people talk about spin, it's not just the politicians you need to keep an eye on. I don't really have a routine. When you listen to proper writers, they really say that they get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're in their study by 9 and they work till noon and all the rest of it. I've never been as disciplined as that. And I think writing this book would have been a lot easier for me if I had been more disciplined. But I tend to get waylaid by, I read something that interests me and I go off on the internet and start researching it, and after about an hour and a half I suddenly realise it's got nothing to do with what I'm supposed to be working on. And that's partly because I used to be a journalist, I think, and particularly a journalist working for the BBC, where my next deadline was like a couple of hours away, or maybe at the most it was the end of the day. And the idea of working on a book like this, quite a big book, I mean it's 470 odd pages, with a deadline of months and months and months away, it was a very strange discipline for me. And I think if and when I do another one, I will try to be much more organised about it. I'll try to make sure that I have got a routine, just to save myself a lot of time and effort.